This recipe is for beef turnip and ale stew. It's going to serve 4 people for a hearty, warming winter dish. Easy to prepare, everything in the pot, but you need to cook it for a long time, 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, till it's nice and tender, melting. So we're going to serve this with bubble and squeak cakes, which is a twist on a traditional English vegetable preparation. We're going to be using shin today. This is the shin here, which is a beautiful meat for slow cooking. It's quite economical. And yeah, cooked for a long time, it's beautiful, melting, tender. And just for comparison, I've got chuck steak here and braising steak. These can both be used. These are cuts of meat for cooking down over a long period of time. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is grab a plastic bag. Make sure your bag has got no perforations in it. It's important that you check that it's completely sealed. I'm going to put the diced beef shin in the bag. And this is really handy. You can get all your seasoning in there, shake it up, and you know it's just going to be completely sealed all the way around, no mess. So I've got flour in here. That's going to go in the bag. Mustard powder, which will work really well with the beef. Plenty of seasoning in there, salt and pepper. There we go. That's good. And just shake it up first, and then massage the bag around, make sure your meat's getting covered with all the seasoning and the flour as well. And what the flour will do, you'll find out later on, is that will thicken your sauce for you. It's kind of already in there and cooked off when you seal it off. Okay, so that's the meat all coated. Now we're ready to fry the meat off. I've just got a pan on here. I'm going to heat it quite high. The quality standard scheme ensures that the older animals have been excluded and that animals that are used for breeding as well have been excluded, and this ensures a better cut of meat. We want to ensure that the meat is nice and brown all over, so we need to cook it on each side. Just get a bit of seasoning there. This meat's browning up beautifully, and that's partly for the flour. The mustard seeds creating a nice crust on there. That's all the meat sealed off. I'm just transferring all that into the casserole. In the same pan, we're going to saute off the onions and the turnips. Just give those a little season. While those are sauteing, I'm just going to chop some mushrooms. Roughly chopped. They're all going to be stewed down, so. Okay, when the onions are starting to wilt down, they're starting to become lightly browned, translucent, we can add the mushrooms. There we go. Again, another little bit of seasoning there. And we just want to cook that down for 3 to 4 minutes until everything's nice and tender. Okay, so sauteed down my onions, mushrooms and turnips, all nicely wilted down. I'm just going to transfer that to the casserole with the beef. Then I'm just going to turn this casserole on now, and I'm going to add some chantre carrots, bay leaf, and then I'm going to add a good glug of dark ale. This is going to form the basis for the sauce. There we go. And then I've got some chopped tomatoes here, salt and pepper, and I'm just going to add a squeeze of honey as well, just to add a little bit of sweetness. There we go. Just bring that to the boil. That's looking great. Just going to stick a lid on it, and we're going to transfer that into a preheated oven, gas mark 3, for about 2 hours until everything's nice and tender. And that's it. Okay, so my stew's been in the oven for about 2.5 hours, and it's going to be ready in 10-15 minutes. So I'm going to prepare the bubble and squeak cakes. So basically what we do, get a saute pan on, medium heat, and we just add the butter. So just going to add some grated onions to the pan, and we just want to cook those down quite slowly, just so they start melting. Just going to give those a minute, and then here we've got some potatoes that have been boiled and mashed. And I've got here some blanched cabbage that I'm just going to put into there. Into that, I'm going to add plenty of salt and pepper. Okay, that's good. Okay, so the onions are ready. I'm just going to set them aside for a couple of minutes to cool down, and then we're going to mix it into the mashed potato. Okay, so the onions are cooled down slightly. I'm just going to add this into the mix, and just going to stir this in. Make sure the cabbage goes all the way through the potatoes. The onions are mixed through properly. Now we're going to mould this into 6. Okay, so we've got our 6 cakes there. So we're just going to shape them a little bit, some more of a cake, and then we're going to fry them off. So I've just got a pan on a medium heat. I'm just going to add some oil. We're going to fry the cakes off. We've just got these in the pan, frying them off. We want nice caramelisation on each side, and to ensure that the potatoes warm through the middle as well. So it's going to be 3 or 4 minutes on each side. So these have been frying for 4 minutes, and they're going to be ready to turn. But also ensure you've got some kitchen towel, so when they're coming out of the pan, you can just drain any oil off. So there you go. Nicely caramelised on the side there, nice and crispy and brown. It's going to be delicious. And while they're finishing, I'm just going to remove my stew from the oven. That's looking amazing. There's a brilliant smell coming off it. All the meat's looking tender there. Okay, so my bubble and squeak cakes are ready. I'm just going to remove these onto the kitchen towel, just to drain any excess oil off. Okay, so cakes have drained off. I'm just going to transfer that onto the plate and then ladle on some of the stew. So beef ale and turnip stew with bubble and squeak cakes, delicious.